What's up here? We're back. What's up, guys? We're back here with another episode of the NFL Nerds podcast. Week two review today. Um, tough week for Alon and I. We'll get into it,
Yeah,
but there are some good games here. A lot to recap, and I think we should just go ahead and start with the Thursday night game. Kansas City versus the Los Angeles Chargers in Kansas City. Justin Herbert, gutsy final drive, couldn't pull it off. Um, but yeah, what were your takeaways?
yeah. It was that final drive. At least that final throw was like ridiculous. And yeah,
Mhm.
as you can probably tell, I'm very out of it this morning. Last night was tough. I never wear sweatshirts or anything, but I need to.
Yeah,
I'm my body temperature is low. Anyway, Justin Herbert was really that last drive, fourth and goal. He had that clutch throw. He had that really nice throw. Um, the fourth down to DeAndre Carter, where like he wasn't even close to open. After it looked like he was just like beyond injured. Um, but yeah, I mean Brandon Staley has awful, just awful. Him and Andy Reid both were terrible fourth down decision wise in that game. They both did everything in their power to lose that game. Brandon Staley, like, I mean, Andy Reid we kind of expected a little bit. Brandon Staley, totally the opposite. Like that first fourth down, which is like fourth and two or something from midfield, I was totally expecting them to go.
yeah,
They didn't go. Same thing with like the next three. And I think they probably went for it on fourth down one time, and it was fourth and one. Um, but yeah, it was terrible. Chargers should have taken advantage of Andy Reid being not good on fourth down decisions and kind of taken that, but Brandon Staley didn't want to do that.
no,
But when you play Mahomes, it's even more like why are you punting the ball back? But yeah, I mean, Chargers are still really good. J.C. Jackson got beat by some random whoever, which was kind of funny, but he'll be fine. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, the fourth down decision making was so weird. I don't know what happened with Brandon Staley. I mean, he literally had it figured out, and then he like I don't know if the media got to him or if maybe ownership pressured him into being more conservative with fourth down calls or what, but like he had more than a clue last year. And I've never seen this where someone gets a clue about what to do with fourth downs and then stops listening to it. Like that's just
yeah,
weird and funny because it's like that's not the that's not the logical process. I don't know. And Brandon Staley is a very smart guy. I mean, he's I considered him my favorite coach all the way up until this offseason, but I mean these first 2 weeks have
right,
been
yeah,
very
brutal.
tough for him. But I mean, I don't know. I hope he snaps out of it. I hope this is just a temporary thing and that the Chargers are able to get those win probability edges that you get with fourth downs. But I mean, as far as the game goes, these are yeah, two very, very good teams, two elite teams. I think these are after yesterday, clearly the two best teams in the AFC West.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Without
yeah,
discussion. I think yeah, Mahomes is ridiculous. Herbert's ridiculous too. I mean, these two teams are lucky that they've got these quarterbacks, and they're gonna have them for much longer time. But yeah, who else played well? I mean, Mike Williams is so good. I really wish the Bears signed him, but
yeah,
he
yeah. I think he got
he got
re-signed by the
tagged. He got
Chargers
tagged. You're right.
or tagged
But
or something. Yeah,
he if he tested free agency at all, they should have been after him. I mean, he can be a wide receiver one, I feel like, on like not like terrific teams, but like on on decent teams. But yeah, I mean, tough for the Chargers not getting that win. I mean, if you're the Chargers and you're able to steal a win in Arrowhead, that's like huge starting off 2-0. But they couldn't do it.
right.
It's hard. It's hard, but hopefully they're able to get their win in LA against Kansas City. And yeah, so next up, which Sunday 10 a.m. game should we start with? Let's start with Miami Baltimore just because there's the
Oh,
most to talk about it.
yeah, yeah. I still don't think Tua is very good, but that was impressive from him. I'll give him credit because he deserves it. I mean, like impressive throw wise, Tyreek Hill was wide open for both touchdowns. Jalen Waddle took a whatever like a easy route to
Yeah.
the house. The Mike Gesicki throw was pretty good. I don't remember the other the game winner, whatever that was. I think that was a good throw. I don't really remember. Um, but yeah, I mean, good comeback. Mike McDaniel, who I have a bet on to win Coach of the Year, um, is
He's
showing
the
out.
favorite now.
He is the favorite. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have him and Kevin O'Connell. So
Those are the
those
two
two look
favorites.
pretty good. Yeah. Um, but um, yeah, I mean, impressive offense when, as we were alluding to when we talked about the East, Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill are really, really good. And them alone, and I thought could be a top 15 offense. Them alone will probably make this a top 15 offense when Tua doesn't have a 6 touchdown game again next week or ever again. Um, Feels reminiscent of Mitchell Trubisky's 6 touchdown game. I can't lie. I mean, against a better opponent in a bigger spot for sure, but after Mitch threw 6 touchdowns, it was like, oh my god, and, he's really not good, and neither's Tua. Um, but the Ravens just like collapsed, just totally collapsed up 21. Lamar is still awesome. Like that was he's so good, like so good at everything. He does not get enough love for how accurate he is as a passer, especially downfield. Um, Bateman did take that one like slant 75 yards, but there's countless really impressive plays where Lamar's legs, especially on that 75-yard touchdown, really just changed the game. Um, but yeah, I mean, if they played that game again, would the Dolphins win 9 out of 10 times? Probably not. But good for the Dolphins. Start 2-0. Ravens will be fine. Their division kind of sucks. Every other team is really bad, so the Ravens will probably be fine winning that division still. Um, but yeah, I mean, impressive win for the Dolphins. Good for them. Both defenses were not great, but both offenses were really good. So can't fault the defenses too much.
Yeah, definitely. I think I largely agree with what you're saying about Tua. I mean,
Yeah,
look, I was very low on the Dolphins coming to the season, like much lower than consensus, I think. And definitely much lower than people who thought they might be able to do something like this. But I mean, they've proven me wrong that they are capable of doing something like this. I would never have imagined Tua being able to throw 6 touchdowns, but I think I honestly underestimated Jalen Waddle and Mike McDaniels or Mike McDaniel, because I feel like Tua is still clearly not doing too much with his arm. I mean, he almost underthrew Tyreek on that second touchdown that where he was wide open.
yeah, I know. Tyreek had to stop him. Like, yeah,
Yeah, it's still not that clean with Tua, I feel like. And look, I mean, he's making the right decisions at least, but I mean, if decisions are this easy with Mike McDaniel, then I
yeah.
mean,
Who like everybody can run that offense.
yeah, maybe get Mike McDaniel a new quarterback and they can win a Super Bowl right now. I don't know.
They might be able to.
It's a cool offense. It's not something I expected to work in the modern NFL, honestly. But I guess maybe with all we've seen against Mahomes and all the too high stuff, this is how you counter it and try to beat them over the middle and just get speedy yak guys.
Right,
But I don't know.
right, right.
I think if I were to guess how this season goes for Dolphins, I think probably around week 5 or 6, Tua has like a 4 pick game, and that's kind of the playbook against him for the rest of the year. Uh,
Probably.
and and it's kind of done from there. But I don't know. I still think this team, I guess, is probably going to get a wild card spot at this point. But I mean, it's only 2 weeks into the season. It's close.
Yeah.
I still think the Broncos are better than them, even though they're 0-2. I don't know. It'll be interesting to watch. And as far as the Ravens go, yeah, I mean, I I don't really feel like you should take much away from the Ravens from this game, honestly, other than that Lamar's still really good. I mean, they did collapse,
Right.
which was tough to see. Um, and I mean, the defense, gave up a lot of just huge plays, huge gash plays, which I feel like you're not usually used to seeing the Ravens do that. They're usually a pretty good defense.
Right, right.
But yeah, I mean, the Ravens, they're in a weird spot now. but you're right. The division is pretty terrible. I don't know how seriously bad the Bengals are. I mean, we'll get to that. Um, but the Browns aren't going to be good for at least another 9 weeks. So yeah, I mean, the Ravens can afford some losses, and I ultimately still think they will win the division. But that just it's unfortunate that game had to come against them, and that I think just running into the Dolphins this early in the season kind of sucks because they're not really there's not really a precedent for Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle on the same field. You don't know how to guard
That's true.
that.
That's true.
Moving on to Patriots Steelers, which is maybe the quarterback matchup of the century and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
matchup of the century here. It's 17-14 game. What do you think? What were your
yeah.
takeaways?
I mean, both quarterbacks in this game were just like really bad.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, Mac Jones did throw a touchdown, but that was really them. Nelson Aguilar made an amazing play. The ball was underthrown. They took it away from the defender,
Mhm.
whoever it was. Trubisky is Trubisky. That interception was like, like that. That's the most Mitch moment you're ever gonna see. Like
Yeah.
tries to thread it into cover four between the middle linebacker and safety converging down on the ball. Like that ball is tipped. That's an interception, and that's exactly what happened. Nobody was open that he was throwing to. Yeah, I mean, he had some really nice throws too, where it was like, oh wow, this guy's good at quarterback. But that is the Mitchell Trubisky experience. Um, Mac Jones had a couple interceptions dropped, like maybe like two or three. He got picked. I don't remember what the interception was, but he did get picked off. Um, yeah, I mean, not a good game. I mean, again, I feel bad for him. Matt Patricia's really bad. That doesn't take away from some poor decisions and some poor misreads and accuracy from Mac Jones, which we saw better of last year. I think he started this year a lot worse than he was last year, which is
Mhm.
surprising. And of course, there's still time, and he'll get used to the system and players around him. But quarterbacks just did not look good in this game. As you 17-14, quarterbacks usually don't look good in this game like that. Um, yeah, Damian Harris got injured maybe at the end of the game. I kind of briefly saw that. Hopefully he's okay. If not, Ramondre Stevenson's good. So their offense will be fine. Both defenses are pretty good, but it's just shit offenses with shitty white quarterbacks who maybe Mac Jones is better than he played yesterday. Mitch
Mhm.
Trubisky is not. I'm not like I don't think the Patriots are very good. Neither are the Steelers. It's whatever game. Patriots are 1-1 now. They'll probably still finish with like 7 wins.
Yeah. I mean, this is a really terrible matchup. Or this was a really terrible matchup. These two teams are so boring. I didn't watch too much of this game. Um, I mean, I saw the red zone highlights and stuff, but Minka had another pick, which is cool to
That's
see. He
right. It
got
was Minka. Minka, yeah. Double
Mhm.
coverage, like deep shot
Yeah.
was the interception. Yeah.
He I don't know. He's a very hit or miss safety. But I don't know. Like people love to fanboy over him and like call him like, the best safety in the league or whatever, which is it's hard when you're so turnover dependent. Um, I feel like I'd much I don't know. Obviously, 2018 Eddie Jackson had a lot of turnovers, but like I'd rather have just like a 2018 Eddie Jackson type of deep safety where he's getting turnovers because no one's getting by him, and if you throw it in his direction, like it's his ball. But
2022 Eddie Jackson does one of the
yeah,
for very slight bright spots on the Bears. Very few.
that's true. Yeah, I love
Well,
seeing Eddie Jackson.
pending the PFF grade in 2 hours, I'll let you know if that's true or not.
Four suits him well, I gotta say. But yeah, I mean, Mac Jones is not terrific. He's pretty good, I still think, and played worse than he is yesterday. Mitch is horrific. Um, and we'll continue to lose the Steelers games like this. I don't know. I think both these teams are gonna be incredibly average this year, and that's exactly where you don't want your team to be. And I mean, the Steelers at least have a quarterback. Well, they have Kenny Pickett. The Steelers should be starting Kenny Pickett now, if we're really being honest. that's the only storyline for the Steelers to me is when can they start playing because every week that they start Mitch, they're wasting another game here. But
Right.
yeah, Patriots escape with a win. Falling to 0-2 would have spelt their misery in that division, which I think is already spelt, unfortunately. Anyways, moving on to the Panthers and Giants, another low scoring affair here. Well, the Bull gets his second win as an NFL head coach. What were your thoughts?
I know you're like relatively like higher on the Giants, especially higher than I am, but I think they're fucking terrible.
Mhm.
They should not have beaten the Panthers, and the Panthers only lost because they're the Panthers and Matt Rule and Ben McAdoo are the two worst coaches in NFL history. Um, like I mean, so bad. The Giants could have lost eight separate times, eight separate like dropped interceptions and all this stuff. Daniel Jones is terrible. Um, he has his sparks, but I mean, the Giants are so bad. I can't believe they're 2-0. Like the Bears get them in 2 weeks. Hopefully, they continue their lucky streak of wins and beat the
Yeah.
Bears so we can go 1-16. But like it's so like this is like probably. I mean, it's not probably. These are two of the worst teams in the NFL. And I mean, both teams look terrible. Both teams are just. Uh, I don't even like it was just such a bad football experience to watch. Whenever Red Zone would switch to this game, like it'd just be another like terrible play, like so bad. Baker is Baker, and Daniel Jones is Daniel Jones, and the offense is just like they don't work. Like they're just so bad. And we're about to see in 2 weeks with the Giants, who Giants have the Cooper Rush led Cowboys and the Justin Fields Justin Fields led Bears in the next 2 weeks, so they could pretty easily be 4-0,
Yeah.
um, leaving week four. But I think they could also pretty easily be 2-2 because they're really bad.
Mhm.
And those two games, especially the Bears game, will be one of those like really low scoring, like another like 17-14 win for one of the teams, and whoever gets more lucky is going to win that game. Um, but the Panthers suck. The Panthers are 0-2. Yeah, they lost to the Browns last week. And the Giants are 2-0. So good for the Giants. The Giants fans have some hope for maybe a couple more weeks until their hopes come crashing down because their team sucks.
Yeah, I mean, look, any win for the Giants is good for the Bears. If we're being realistic here,
It's true. It's true.
this is good to see. But no, I mean, I don't. I am higher on the Giants than you, but I still think I've been largely unimpressed by them through the first 2 weeks. Now, look, obviously they won 2 games. They were underdogs in, which is a task, obviously in and of itself. But they're not really beating other bad teams handedly,
Right.
which is what I'd hope for if I'm a Giants fan. And obviously, I don't know. I don't. Daniel Jones stinks. Is the fact at the end of the day, and they're gonna need to figure out when to move on off him. I mean, I this is why I'm scared because in the top five, they're probably gonna be. I think picks 1 and 2 will be Stroud and Young at this point. I think they're enough quarterback needy teams that will.
Well, yeah, but I think once the Bears finish with the second overall pick, they'll have a decision to make. Well, we'll talk about the Bears for
Yeah.
a little bit in a little bit. I have a lot to say.
The Giants are going to be in this position too, and they're going to be wanting one of Stroud or Young. I don't know. I don't know. So will the Panthers. A lot of teams are looking to these two guys. And look, I mean, there are a lot of other good young quarterbacks coming out next year, but none like these two. Um,
Right.
but anyways, back to this game. I mean, the quarterback play was bad. The coaching was bad. I mean, I think I like the Bulls still, but and yeah, I mean, I'm not going to evaluate him based off this one game, but some cool running backs in this game too, which was uh,
Highlight of
bad,
the offense.
yeah, bad highlight of the offense, but it was the highlight of the and not many good receivers either. Yeah, this was just a pretty
Yeah,
bad
this
game.
is shitty football. Nobody wants to watch this.
Two teams that are going to be picking in the top 10 next year, and likely one of them at least in the top five. Anyways, moving on now, we have the Jets and Browns. This was an exciting one, despite a lack of talent. Although we saw some new talent emerge, some exciting ones.
Yeah,
What do you think about this one?
yeah. Garrett Wilson had himself a day. So did Brees
Yeah,
Hall.
yeah.
Garrett Wilson's really good. It's always promising when the backup quarterback goes in and the offense looks good. Usually means you have pretty good structure and system in place. Although Joe Flacco is a veteran, so we'll
Mhm.
see if Zach Wilson, whenever he plays, can operate the offense to the same level that Joe Flacco did because it was good yesterday. Um, you know, the Browns, the Jets who recovered an onside kick. That's right. So the Browns should have probably won. And this is one of the games like it's against the Jets against Joe Flacco. Like as we said, like going 6-6 in the time they don't have Deshaun or whatever 500, however many games he misses, would have been great for them. And this is a game like you need to win. Um, it doesn't matter how, it doesn't matter how pretty, how ugly, but they lost. They couldn't
Yeah.
recover the onside kick. They kicked over to Amari Cooper. He didn't recover the ball. Um, and you lose a game that you should be winning, and that would really help you because your division's not very good.
Yeah.
There's clear weaknesses all around your division, and when Deshaun Watson plays, your team is really good. Well, at least so I thought. Letting up 31 points with what I thought was a good defense to Joe Flacco led Jets is not good. Um, but I think they'll probably be okay. But good win for the Jets. I don't know if it's a good thing that they won. Um, you know, Probably best case scenario would have been for them to be winless when Joe Flacco started, and then really gotten an assessment under Zach Wilson. And if he sucked, you would have had already 4 or 5 losses to help you get a higher draft pick.
That's
Um,
true.
but if Zach Wilson's good, and maybe it's a good thing that Joe Flacco won a couple games. So,
Mhm.
I don't think they're going to contend for much anyway. So that's why I think maybe starting 0-4, and then maybe Zach Wilson comes in and maybe he's good and they win like 5 games still. That's a good spot for them because they're picking high. Their quarterback is they have faith in him, but if he sucks, they can still pick high and pick one of those guys, or trade back and get trade value. But anyway, yeah, I mean, fun game. Two kind of boring teams. I didn't have much interest in watching the game other than the end. But
Mhm.
congrats to the Jets on their first win of the season.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a huge Garrett Wilson fan. I drafted him in my dynasty league, so I'm so happy to see him going
That's
off.
a
And
good pick.
yeah, I have him, and I have him, Sky Moore, and Velus Jones as my rookie receivers. So I need need all
Bayless
three of those.
Jones. Maybe he'll
Um,
maybe he'll be the spark the Bears offense needs.
maybe he'll play a football game.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe next week is what this was what Larry Mayer said. Maybe
I hope so. I mean, they need him. Um, but yeah, I mean, this game was exciting. Garrett Wilson is probably an early offensive rookie of the year favorite now. I mean, super early. There's still a lot of season to be played. Drake London also had a really good game yesterday. Um, but for the Browns, I mean, I don't know if you saw, but Nick Chubb could have sat down after he got the first down at first and goal and won the game. But he ran it in for the touchdown.
yeah.
And
Well, and I'm playing him in fantasy. Piece of shit.
oh my God. You have to be woke about that stuff if you're a running
Yeah,
back. I'm sorry. Like that is like one of the things you have to be coached on and have to do. Like, and Nick Chubb has shown that he knows when to do this before. Like he did it, I think, in what was it, 2019? Like he sat down within the one to seal a win. And like you have to be able to do that. And people think it's just a small thing, but like you are actively harming your team when you score a touchdown there. Um,
right.
and you see how and why, and it's because of the Jets yesterday. But I mean, as far as the Jets go, this is a cool win to have. I mean, Joe Flacco stinks, and to put up 31 points is impressive. I think this supporting cast around Zach Wilson is going to be pretty good. Um, he's got some pieces to work with.
For sure. Yeah,
I don't know how well the offensive line played, but I feel like I didn't hear much about Miles Garrett yesterday, which is, I mean, always an impressive thing to shut him down. I could be totally wrong on that though. As far as the Browns go, yeah, I mean, again, like you're 1-0. The Ravens just lost. The Bengals are about to lose. You are the only you have a chance to be the only undefeated team in the division without your starting quarterback. Sit down within the 5 yard line, please. Like just win the game. You need to win this game if you're the Browns to have any chance at the postseason. I mean, fortunately for the Ravens and Bengals, and unfortunately for the Browns, they end up losing here. But the AFC North just seems like a shit show this year, which is not normal. Um, it's usually a pretty tidy division, I'd say.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
But I don't know. It's off to a tough start this year. But I think the three top teams will bounce back. And I don't even really think the Ravens have much to bounce back from. Honestly, I still think they're just a good team. Um, but yeah, two largely uninspiring teams. Moving on to the Colts and Jags. This was a beatdown. I had Jags plus
yeah,
4, so I was excited.
yeah. Same. But yeah, I mean, it's like I think we might have talked about it last week, but like it's like one of those really weird games where like it makes no sense, but the Jags just win every single year in Jacksonville. I never put in too much thought into the game.
Mhm.
Like last year, Trevor Lawrence's by far best in away game was against the Colts in Jacksonville. Gardner Minshew was always really good against the Colts in Jacksonville. Just a really one of those weird games. Trevor Lawrence was great. I don't want to take anything away from him, but I want to see a couple more weeks of him looking good
Yeah.
to really say, not just against the Colts in Jacksonville, to really say that he's taken that step, which looks promising right now.
Mhm.
But I think the Jets are going to get a lot of media love this week because of that win. They're lucky this year it came in week 2 and not week 18 where
Yeah,
nobody cares about the season anymore. It came in week 1 2 years ago
that's true.
when they started
That's
1-0
true.
and then lost the rest of their games. They're like, score. The Jags really not that bad. Um, but I mean, they're a solid team. Christian Kirk looks really good first 2 weeks. He looks like a viable wide receiver one on that team. Like seriously.
Yeah.
Often, I mean, Doug Peterson's great.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, the Colts look bad. I still don't worry too much about them. Don't want to put too much in the game. That's all.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if you see like 2 more weeks of this out of Trevor Lawrence of him playing like this well, and it's not even like he had like a world beater game yesterday. He just like played an efficient game.
Yeah,
And if he's able to like maintain that, like not only is he easily the best quarterback in this division, but I think the Jags are probably the best team in this division, honestly. I
yeah,
mean,
probably true.
I I- I'm pretty worried about the Colts after this game. Matt Ryan looks like he's lost his
Yeah,
mind.
yeah, he does both weeks actually.
Yeah. I think I think they might have just big time missed on this. I mean, they got lucky with Rivers having a very good final year. Carson Wentz had one of his better years there. Brissett had one of his better years there. Like they've gotten a lot out of these veteran guys, and I don't know that it might finally be time they got really unlucky on one of these veteran guys, and I think Matt Ryan might be the one. I mean, I loved Matt Ryan as a Falcon. I thought he was always one of the more underrated quarterbacks in the league. Um, but God, I think he's aged really poorly at this point, and his time is probably up. But yeah, as far as the Jags go, I mean, Christian Kirk is is a dog. Um, Trevor Lawrence just needs to keep it up. Kirk is still definitely not worth his top 3 wide receiver contract, but he's there anyways. James Robinson had 23 carries on 64 yards, so I might need to buy some Travis Etienne stock. He might be getting starting jobs soon. I don't know. Um, but yeah, I mean, this. I think this is ultimately a pretty important game for how the AFC North or the AFC South lays out at the end of the year. Um, and I'm glad my Jags won it. And yeah, 24-0 beat down of the Colts.
Yeah, yeah, just destroyed them.
Next game is Bucks Saints. Brady finally gets his regular season win in New Orleans. Um,
Yeah,
what did you think?
yeah, pretty shitty game all around.
Yeah.
Like James probably threw what 3 interceptions, maybe 4. No, I think it was 3. But he was really bad. Uh, Missing throws. Obviously that Mike Evans, Marshawn Lattimore scuffle was funny. The most entertaining part of the game, but yeah, Bucks offense was really stale for most of the game until that touchdown to Perriman. Um, Yeah, I don't know. It's so that's another one of those really every single year a weird game where like the Bucks just look lost in New Orleans and against the Saints, and especially Brady, who's first win, yeah, against the Saints in the regular season. It's really weird to think about with how good he's been. He's 1-4. Um, but yeah, both teams looked underwhelming on offense, pretty good on defense. Um, but week two is always weird, and that this game is always weird. It was 9-0 last year. Brady got shut out by the Saints and Trevor Simeon. It was
Mhm.
Taysom Hill, but um, yeah, just weird game. Both teams looked not good, but I'm not too worried about the Bucks or Brady. Brady always figures it out.
Yeah, I agree. I think I mean, look, Brady is 45 years old at this point, um, which is tough. And like, I feel like this might honestly be the first year where I've like looked at Brady and been like, whoa, like
Yeah,
you are
yeah, it's
old.
true. It's true.
You look like he's skinny and like it's just clearly not the same as the other athletes out there now. But anyways, I mean, I think I agree. I think this Bucks offense will ultimately figure it out. But another bad showing from them yesterday, ultimately. I think not having Chris Godwin hurts this offense a lot. He really is able to open things up for them.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, you have a really deep receiving core, and Julio wasn't playing, right? Um,
No, Julio was out. Russell
so
Gage is wide receiver two until
right.
Mike Evans got hurt.
I started Russell Gage in one of my leagues. Didn't play too well, but yeah, I mean they didn't have two of their best receivers out there, which is obviously not ideal. But still, you should be able to put up more than 20 points against the Saints, even though I think the Saints have impressed me throughout the first 2 weeks of the season. I don't really think I was that high on them until we started breaking down divisions, and I kind of looked at their roster versus the rest of the roster in the NFL, and I was like, okay, this team is actually a lot better than most of the other teams in the NFL. Um, and I honestly just think the unfortunate part of it is Jameis is going to have, his 3 interception games, and you're just going to lose
Yeah,
those.
yeah, he is.
And it's just an unfortunate reality. But you take those on the chin and just hope that next week he comes down and throws 4 touchdowns and 500 yards. Um, but I mean, I wouldn't be too worried about the Saints offense. I don't think they've still got really good receivers. Mike Thomas played well again. Chris Olave had a drop or two, which is not terrific to see, but not really worrisome. But I think the Saints are going to be putting up more than 10 points in almost all their games. I'm not really worried. I'm not really worried about the Saints. I still think the Saints are pretty much a lock for an NFC wildcard spot. Um, and yeah, I'm glad Brady got his New Orleans victory. I still think the Bucks are the better team, and that's why they won. But yeah, it was a very sloppy first half, very, very sloppy. And hopefully these two teams are able to figure out a little bit more because I think these are two of the teams that will be able to compete with the Packers in the playoffs, especially the
Yes,
Bucks.
yes,
So, and the Bucks have a big game this weekend. They better show out in Florida against the Florida Packers. Um, Another NFC North game here. Commanders Lions. Oh man, Lions offense.
yes. Lions offense 71 points in 2 games. Jared Goff led offense. Carson Wentz put up good numbers, but he was not good in this game. The first half was the total Carson Wentz experience, similar to the
Mhm.
Mitchell Trubisky experience, except Carson Wentz is better. Um, yeah, I mean Jahan Dotson had that 1 or 2 touchdowns. He had that really nice grab for one of the touchdowns. Amon-Ra St. Brown looks like a stud. And when they
Yeah.
get Jameson, and they don't even have Jameson Williams healthy right now. They started uh, Dan Skipper or something at left guard who was 6'9" playing guard. They had injuries all over their offense and they still put up a lot of points. Look like a good team right now, and hopefully they can continue because they're a fun team. They have talent. Lions fans have had a lot of horrible years, but their team looks good now. And if they get one of these quarterbacks in the draft, which they look good enough that they're not going to be in a spot to get one,
Yeah.
which kind of sucks for them. It's good for, I guess, the division. Um, they could be a really good team with a quarterback, like really good team because they look
Yeah.
good. I mean, their defense is not very good, but their offense, I mean, even with Jared Goff, is putting up a lot of points.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't. They're definitely not going to be in contention for Stroud or Young. I don't think at all. But they're gonna be able to get one of these other guys. I think maybe like Levis or I don't know. But I don't. I don't know. As a Bears fan, I'm certainly glad that they're not going to be able to get one of Stroud or Young. Um, and I think this is unfortunately kind of what happens when you don't get the quarterback first, and you develop the rest of the team is you're stuck in a position of where do we get the quarterback? Now look, maybe they go out and they sign Lamar Jackson this offseason and they win the Super Bowl next year. That would not surprise me. I think they could do that. They might. But they aren't able to get Lamar, who is probably the best free agent quarterback ever.
Ever. Not even. It's not even close. I mean, Tom Brady, sure,
Yeah,
but Lamar's like expected value too because he's gonna play for a lot longer. Like it is if he hits the market, like
yeah.
I'm out on the Ravens. Like that's insane. That's unbelievably poor organizational, work. Like I mean, just so bad. And we're
Yeah.
gonna we're gonna make a top 32 of organizations and sometime soon.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I feel like I mean, obviously Drew Brees is probably the only other exception there, in terms of how good a quarterback. But Drew Brees wasn't as good with the Chargers as he was with the Saints. So I don't know. Lamar. Anyways, yeah, Lamar might be signed with the Lions, but the Lions do look very, very good. Amon-Ra St. Brown is at least a receiver you can rely on for the rest of the after rebuild, which is nice to see. I don't think he's a wide receiver one really,
He's a
and I
slot
don't
guy,
think
but yeah,
yeah, he's a slot
he's
guy
good.
who's gonna be a good slot guy for probably the rest of his career. Um, I mean, Goff. It's cool to me because I think Goff is like the perfect like fake like hypothetical quarterback. Like, okay, how good would this offense be with Jared Goff? Like, I think you can
Yeah,
just like throw
yeah,
that, so throw him on here, and you kind of get to see, okay, how good would the Lions offense be with Jared Goff? And it's still really good, which shows that I think they have a top three offensive line, and they have like a very very good receiving core,
right.
and they're putting up points. And the defense isn't great still, but it's good enough to win some games. And I don't think the Lions are going to be I don't think the Lions are going to be really in wild card contention, but I think they're going to be feisty for the rest of the season, and I think they'll easily hit the over on their win total. So yeah, good for the Lions. And as far as the Commanders go, I mean, it's a tough way to bounce back after an impressive week one. You would have liked to see them play a bit better in the first half. I mean, I think they started off what 22-0. Um,
Yeah,
the, the, the what was it? Yeah, 22-0, and then
yeah, yeah. And
they
then they
had
kind of,
yeah, bit of a comeback, but I don't know. I think the Commanders they just got caught in a tough position here, and this Lions offense was ready to fight back after last week. Now moving on to the 4 p.m. slate.
look
First
at you,
game.
4 p.m.
I know I'm an East Coaster now. Um, 49ers versus Seahawks. Absolute tragedy coming off in the
Yeah,
first quarter. Trey Lance got
done
this
for the
20.
season, right?
Yeah, done for the season. I mean, thank God they got Jimmy G under contract
Yeah, I
because
know, I know. I think we kind of talked about it a little bit when we were covering the 49ers. Maybe it was last week. But Trey Lance is a high risk player, especially the way they use him. So I think
mhm,
that was probably the big reason they wanted to keep Jimmy G is Trey Lance can get hurt pretty easily because Kyle Shanahan uses him like a fucking fullback. Like all these quarterback powers, he's not sliding, nothing. Like he should have gotten hurt in the Bears game the way Roquan was tackling him. But yeah, like I hope Trey Lance is okay. Prayers to him. But you know, the offense just at this moment is better with Jimmy G in it. It just is.
yeah,
And if they continue to have success this year and they're a playoff team again, maybe they don't make the Super Bowl, but they have some success in the playoffs like they've had previous years. Like, what do they do this offseason?
I know,
Like,
right?
it's a nightmare for that, especially for Trey Lance, who really deserves a shot in this league.
Yeah,
And he's probably going to get it with a team. I don't know if it's going to be the 49ers. It's just going to be like they traded up 9 spots, 2 first round picks to get Trey Lance. Um, and they could have had Jimmy G, who's now on the Patriots. They could have had cheaper Jimmy G for 4 or 5 years, stayed at 12, and not given up a single pick. Uh, it's just like I don't even want to talk about Justin Fields. I know you probably thought I was going to make that comparison. Like, no, he's not to be talked about.
Yeah,
But
no.
like Mac Jones making 4 mil is a great contract.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially for the 49ers, who could have kept Lake and Tomlinson, whatever. Um, but it's going to be a weird off season. Like Trey Lance better hope Jimmy G's not good this year, because it could be Jimmy G's job again next year if the offense is good. Because how is Kyle Shanahan going to again try and trade or try and cut or make backup for a quarterback who 2 years was like your job is up soon. And he just keeps winning, and keeps succeeding. And obviously he's not great, and Trey Lance's ceiling is so much higher, but it's just such a weird situation for them. And the Seahawks suck. I think we all knew this. This should be 0-2 pretty easily. Geno Smith is, he might have called back or written back
You wrote a
this week.
letter over there.
Um, but yeah, Seahawks suck. Good one for the 49ers. They're a better team now than they were a week ago. Doesn't make the Bears win look any better. They played in the monsoon. The Bears still suck. But good for the 49ers.
Yeah. This was a sad game. Trey Lance, I mean, man of the 2021 draft class, disappointed so far, of course, because it was the most hyped up, ever. Um, but man, I mean, Trey Lance, that's a killer. You're right. I don't know what the hell they're gonna do this offseason, and I fully do expect to see Jimmy G at least compete for a wild card spot, and I think there's a pretty good chance he ends up getting it. Um, and if he gets it, there's a pretty good chance 49ers are able to win in a game in the playoffs. And that's just what you do not want as Kyle Shanahan. And look, I mean, I think I'm curious what they could get for Trey Lance in a trade right now.
Yeah, I am too. I don't know. Like, but a team like
Probably
the
not
Eagles or the Lions would be really wise. But we thought the same thing with Jordan Love, who's just rotting on the bench now. Like
Yeah,
that's somebody the Packers should trade a while ago. They could have gotten a second round pick, like made the pick they made look a little bit better. But there's a lot of teams that should take a chance on Trey Lance. I just don't know
yeah,
if the 49ers are ever going to make him available.
I know. And I don't know if they should. It's tough because if they still believe in him wholeheartedly, I mean, they should stick by him. And I still think they have good reason to stick by him. I mean, I still do think he's such a good talent. But I mean, if you're trying to trade for him, you have all the leverage in negotiations. I mean, this is a quarterback who has played 17 games collegiately, has sucked in the NFL, and broke his ankle in his fourth start. So
Yeah,
it's basically been worst case scenario for Trey Lance's value. His value is just plummeted since being drafted. I mean, as soon as you drive the car off the lot, its value already tanks. But man, for the 49ers, I mean, yeah, Jimmy G just suits the offense better right now. I think they're more comfortable with him in there. Um, and I think they're gonna win more games, probably. Well, I don't know. I think Trey Lance definitely pushes their ceiling a lot higher. But I part of me thinks their median is indeed higher with Jimmy G.
I think so
Um,
too. Yeah.
and yeah, the Seahawks are just bad. This is a game with I think few takeaways, honestly, other than the fact that the 49ers are a good team with Jimmy Garoppolo and the Seahawks are just a bad team, period. Yeah, so moving on. Falcons Rams. This one got interesting towards the end.
Yeah,
Um,
they covered. I didn't somehow they covered 10, which I'm pissed about.
oh God, yeah, that sucks because I mean the the Falcons had a crazy fourth quarter there. Block punt, fumble, and everything. I mean, it was fun though, and this was a big Drake London breakout game, and by big I mean 86 yards, but still something nice to see out of him.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, what would you think?
yeah. Drake London looked good. Kyle Pitts was kind of not really seen in the offense, and there's something
Yeah,
with Arthur Smith saying it's we don't care about your fantasy team, all right, whatever. I think they know his skill in the offense, and I think sometimes fans overlook sometimes is how a really good player on your offense can be used as like a decoy, and as a layered concept guy to open up other routes, because Kyle Pitts is going to get the most attention on that team. And if you're able to take a corner and a safety away with him, and he's probably not going to be open against a team like the Rams when you have Jalen Ram or whoever it is. If you got two guys on him who are probably talented, you're going to have other guys open like Drake London. And if Drake London, who's really talented, I know you loved him pre-draft. Like he looked great yesterday. Get him the ball. He's dynamic. Like he can be really good. Like he's I know Kyle Pitts is great, was the fourth overall pick. Drake London was the eighth overall pick. Like he's really good. The first receiver drafted. I think people are forgetting that,
Yeah.
just because his name's not Garrett Wilson. Um, but like I like what they did. I mean, obviously they got the punt return touchdown, and that pretty much covered for them. Um,
Yeah.
I do want to say, I know we were hating on Arthur Smith, but going for down 14, they scored the touchdown. He went for two, which I love.
It's good
Made it,
to see.
if they scored a touchdown, they would have won the game because he was ballsy and went for two, which is a good analytics play because I mean, you're going to convert probably one out of two.
Right.
But if you convert the first one, then you're going to win the game on the second PAT.
Mhm.
So good move by him. I like that. Rams looked fine. You want to beat the Falcons by more than that, but I think it was a couple unlucky plays. So not worried about the Rams. They're still a good team. Cooper Cup fumble was fun. It was fun for the game. Allen Robinson just like totally missed the recovery, which was really funny. But yeah,
Allen
good
Robinson
win
still
for the
doing
Rams. Well,
pretty.
solid win for the Rams.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty
And
good game for
PFF
the
still
Rams.
has not posted their grades for the 1 o'clock games.
Jeez. I need to. I'm so nervous for the Sunday night games to come out. Anyways, but yeah, I mean the Falcons putting up 27 points against the Rams is a good thing to see for them, I will say. I think this Falcons offense has impressed me in back-to-back weeks now. Look, this Falcons offense was given a lot of second chances here in the fourth quarter that they wouldn't have been afforded otherwise. But they were able to capitalize on those opportunities for the most part. And Drake London looked really good, like I'd already mentioned. He's very, very good. He is an elite prospect, and they should lean on him more. The Kyle Pitts thing is a bit concerning to hear, I think, because if it's not okay, if it is in the best interest for your team to not throw to him to win because of the scheme you're running, then it's just a mismanagement of a draft pick there, and you shouldn't have drafted him at 4. And you should let him be in an offense where he's going to be featured and get a lot of
Right.
targets. Because
No, right. I mean, that's what happens when you take a tight end at 4.
yeah, and look, I mean, if you're the Chiefs drafting Travis Kelce at 4, if you have a crystal ball and are able to look into the future, that's fine because Travis Kelce is going to produce better than basically every receiver in the league. But when you're not targeting Kyle Pitts, you're wasting his time here, and you're wasting his rookie contract. Um,
Right.
and they should definitely lean on him more. And it's just smart to lean on him more. Like he's so good. Like he's the best player on your offense. You should throw him the ball more. If not, I mean, trade him. I don't know. You can probably still get a first for him, I'd imagine. Um, I mean, it's probably a back end of the draft for or back end of the first round first, but a first is a first. As far as the Rams go, I mean, you don't want to see the Falcons in this game, and Stafford threw 2 more picks, and yeah, I don't know. Stafford's worrying me a little bit. He turns the
Yeah.
ball over much, and I mean, he really hones in on Cooper Cup, which is smart when you have Cooper Cup, but I think it also
You have
leads
Allen
you to
Robinson too.
yeah, you maybe he has a clue who's a lot better. Um, but when you rely on a target so much, like you're just going to make bad decisions throwing to them, unfortunately. Um, which I mean, that just comes with a high target count, unfortunately. I don't know. The offense is good. 31 points is good. Cooper Cup had 2 touchdowns again, 11 catches. I mean, I don't know. I think they need to start relying on Allen Robinson a little bit more here. They just need to start spreading the ball around. The Rams are still a top tier NFC team to me, but I don't think they're an elite team by any stretch of the imagination. Um, so yeah, 27 Falcons, 31 Rams. Moving on here, we have the Cardinals versus the Raiders. This was probably the most exciting game of the afternoon.
Yeah, yeah. The Cardinals look terrible. 20-0, right? They were down.
Yeah, 20 to
Um,
0.
Devontae Adams got his first touchdown of the year, I think. Um,
Oh,
but yeah, the Cardinals came back. Cliff Kingsbury is fucking terrible. Kyler Murray, like, just like created points. Um, but who was it that fumbled at the end to lose them the game? I think Isaiah Simmons picked it up, right?
yeah, Isaiah Simmons did.
Hunter
It was
Renfro maybe.
it
Hunter
wasn't
Renfro fumbled.
twice in
Um,
overtime.
Forced by Simmons maybe, and Byron Murphy picked it up, something like that. One of the two. They were involved in the play. But yeah, I mean, good one for the Cardinals. I don't know. The Raiders are 0-2. They don't look very good. This is a game they should have won. Their defense is a worry spot for sure. Um, yeah, I mean, Cardinals don't look too great either, other than some late minute heroics from Kyler Murray. With Jimmy G back, I think they're the third best team in that division.
You think the 49ers are?
No, I think the 49ers are better than the Cardinals,
Okay. You
which I
think the
did not
49ers are
think
better?
before the season.
Oh,
I think
really?
I had the Cardinals over on
Interesting.
their wins and the Niners under, which I do want to change now. I think the Niners go over now that with Jimmy back. Although I
Do you,
guess not really how betting works.
do you think the Niners are better than the Rams, or do you still think the Rams are better?
No, no, no. I do
Yeah,
not. But I actually don't think it's that far off. I think the Niners are really good with Jimmy.
I do too. But yeah, I mean, as far as this game goes, it was a super exciting second half. I mean, the Cardinals had that crazy comeback, but these are honestly, I think, two of the more disappointing teams in the league and two teams that just want to compete so badly, but I just don't think they're capable of it.
Right, right.
Devontae Adams, I know he had a bad game yesterday. Let me see what he had. It was, let's see, two catches for 12 yards.
Oh my God, are you serious?
That's that's a
That's
brutal
brutal. You got Devontae
Devontae hasn't
Adams.
had a game like that in years. I mean, you've gotta mix him into the offense a bit more than that. And I mean, I don't know how many targets he got, but I'm still not worried that this is kind of gonna happen like every dumb fan thought would, that Devontae Adams is just gonna fall off a cliff. And I mean, look, Devontae Adams is still one of the best receivers, if not the best receiver in the league. But you got to get him more production than that. Derek Carr, I'm sorry, man. And I know there are a lot of receivers to spread the love to here, but he is the best of them. Um, Kyler Murray really put the team on his back here.
Did, yeah.
I'm Cliff is no good. I mean, he's got to
Awful,
go.
awful.
Some of these play designs are just they're hard to watch.
Yeah.
This is just like it's the Cardinals are such a I don't know how to describe them other than like a plastic team. Like I just feel like they want to
Yeah.
be like the
Yeah.
49ers or the Rams with their young head coach and they can't do it. Like they can't, unfortunately.
No,
And look,
Cliff sucks. He needs to
it's
be fired, and he's not going to be because they're going to be good enough to where it's like, oh, he's not. Kyler Murray will get him out of the whatever shit he's
yeah,
in.
exactly. And they're gonna stick with him way too long and they're gonna I don't know, this is just an organization that is flawed. They I will never forget that they drafted two off-ball linebackers that suck in the first round um in back-to-back years. James Conner got injured, I think I saw, so that's no good for them. But for the Raiders, starting off 0-2 in the AFC West, you can
Yeah, no, they're
basically write
fucked.
them off.
They're
Yeah.
done. They're done. Season
So
season's over.
I mean, if you look at the Raiders cap, they were expecting to compete this year, next year, and they're not. And
No, nope.
they're fucked. They're fucked.
Yeah,
It's it's a brutal position to be in. For the Cardinals, I mean, lucky, lucky, lucky win for them to get out of it. And they do it. They get their first win of the year. That's big in an NFC West that has a lot of losses already. Or well, I guess all three of the top teams are 1-1 to start off, but yeah, I mean, I think these two teams are gonna disappoint this year, unfortunately, if we've seen anything from the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I had a little bit of higher expectations for the Raiders, and yesterday, I mean, I was excited to see that they got off to a 20-0 start because I was like, they should against the crappy defense like the Chiefs, and I think that the Raiders are clearly the better team, but I don't know. 29 or 29 Cardinals, 23 Raiders is the overtime
The
score.
Cardinals were plus 5.5, right? So it didn't matter.
Was it
Yes, they
what?
were. Okay. They
Wow,
were plus 5.5.
huge
Yeah,
spread.
I know. Yeah, it was.
Oh wait, oh no, they were on the road. That's right. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, on to Mile High. We have Texans Broncos, where the fans started chanting down the play clock because of the three delays of games in the first, what, 7 quarters of Nathaniel Hackett's.
Unbelievable what I was watching. I think I saw the worst of it when back to back plays, Noah Beck or whatever his name is, something Beck, um, took a took a tight end sweep on 3rd and 1, got stopped, obviously a yard, like tight end sweep. Like this is like Matt Nagy shit. 4th and 2, whatever. Next play, delay a game, like out of a timeout, delay of game. Same thing happened with the Cardinals. Timeout, a 2-point conversion, delay of game. Like I don't know how these coaches let this happen. Like
Yeah, that
Nathaniel Hackett has had the two, like at least Matt Nagy, who will probably get a lot of comparisons to Nathaniel Hackett. His first 2 games were like looked good. Like they barely lost to the Packers in Lambeau. They
second
beat
game.
the Seahawks.
Oh right, yes, on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, on Monday Night Football. Like it was like wow, pretty good. Nathaniel Hackett looks like the worst coach ever. Like he's not going for it on 4th down. He's a pussy. His play calling was awful. Russell Wilson was, at least for the first half, was terrible. I think in the entire game, he probably completed less than 50% of his passes. Like just terrible all around from the Broncos. Luckily for them, the Texans suck. So they were able to get that win.
Yeah,
Yeah. Do the Bears play the Texans next week? That's who it
they did.
is, right?
Yeah,
Oh God, Jesus Christ! Yeah, I mean the
man.
Texans are terrible. That offense sucks. That defense sucks.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, not much else to say.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
the Nathaniel Hackett is at a very interesting start. I don't know. I think people are being a little bit critical of the Broncos, I think. I still think this team has a top 7 quarterback and a top 5 receiving core, and a good defense, which is what you would love to see out of a good team. However, um, being down, what was it, 6-9 against the Texans in the fourth quarter at home is pretty
yeah,
unacceptable. Um, it's been an ugly start for the Broncos for sure. And look, I if they come out next week or the next week and they like put up 40 points, I'm sold. I just need to see it from them one time. I just like beat a good team, put up a lot of points, prove that Russell Wilson is not like terrible because he played really bad. Um, and I know he's not really bad, but just prove it. I mean, maybe really it really is Nathaniel Hackett. He's really holding this offense back that much, which is crazy. I mean, if he is so bad that he's able to hold back Russell Wilson, that is like
he's
all
terrible.
time. That is like worse than Nagy. I mean, Nagy probably would have made it to an NFC Championship game with Russell Wilson. Um, I don't know though. I think it's as far as the Broncos go, you know, you just got to be happy that you're escaping the first 2 weeks 1-1. Um, Especially in this tight AC West where the Chiefs are now 2-0. I mean, you've gotta keep up. And they were able to fortunately. They've they've got to rally off some impressive wins though, I gotta say. Because yesterday was concerning. Yesterday was, I think, more concerning than week 1 where they actually lost. Um,
Right?
and yeah, I mean, as far as the Texans go, this team's terrible. Davis Mills, though, I mean, he is pretty average. Actually, just looked at his. There was not a very good game from him.
No,
But you know,
no, I not a good game.
if you're the Texans, just live life this season. You know, you just gotta.
Oh yeah, we finally got some grades available.
Oh shoot,
Oh
from the one
no,
from one
not from
p.m.
the Bears. Don't worry, don't
Okay.
worry. I'm just interested in seeing Trevor Lawrence.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
that's a good.
you continue. You continue.
Um,
I will quickly check Trevor Lawrence.
but yeah, I mean, if you're the Texans, just chill this year. You have Davis Mills, who you're paying no money to be your starting quarterback, which is cool. And you hopefully are crossing your fingers that you get one of Bryce Young or CJ Stroud next year. And I think they have a very good chance of getting it. So that's why the Bears absolutely need to lose next week so that the Texans are pick over the Bears. Okay. Is it time?
75.3 from Trevor Lawrence.
75.3. Okay. Okay. Passing grade? Was that the that's pretty
That's
good.
the offensive grade. His passing
Okay.
grade was a 73.7.
Okay. Okay. Not
All right,
not
what other
great
games do
in
we
the
have that
world.
are of importance? Mac Jones. Guess Mac Jones before I'm not even looking at
Um 66.
50.7.
Oh my God, Mac Jones.
Mitchell
No.
Trubisky was a 61.6.
It's cold. It's cold in these streets. Um,
Andrew Thomas, 87.5. Wow. Yeah, Daniel Jones, 51. Baker Mayfield, 48.
ooh. Well,
Yeah,
what about
yeah.
Tua?
Tua, I don't think that it hasn't come out. Tom Brady was 69.5, the highest grade on the Buccaneers offense.
Oh my God, really? That's terrible.
46.9 for Jameis.
Ugh.
Damn, yeah. Dolphins Ravens is not out. All the other 12 o'clocks are out though. All right, let's look. Charles Leno was the leader for the Commanders.
Again,
Again, Carson Wentz 57, Jared Goff 61. Okay. Anyway, we have like 10 minutes left, and I still want to talk about the Bears.
this is yeah, it's time. It's time to talk about Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
My prediction was 35 to 10, and we did that, so I can't be too upset here. Um,
Uh,
but yeah, tell me your thoughts.
okay, so after the first drive, which actually happens a lot of years,
Hmm.
happened last year in Soldier Field where we scored on the first drive, rushing touchdown Khalil Herbert. Um, I don't
I'll
the
never
game against
forget.
Green Bay in Lambeau. I don't think we were down like 21-0. But same thing happened. Mitchell Trubisky did it multiple times. The
Yeah,
Bears score in the first drive. 2020
20,
when Mitchell Trubisky came back to Lambeau on Sunday Night Football, the Bears drove all the way down the field. David Montgomery had a 60-yard run, stalled in the red
yeah,
zone for a field goal. But anyway, it happens every year against the Packers, and I knew that. And I knew after Fields ran, I mean, obviously, like the excitement is higher than my I know what's going to happen, but that's exactly what happened. Justin Fields, athlete, great thrower, has clear deficiencies reading the field, clear, but it's a lot harder. And I'll probably break it down on Twitter. I'll probably have a thread of every single drop back. Like it's bad. Like there's one trending kind of on Bears Twitter right now of Sam Musford getting literally destroyed and Cole Kmet dropping a pass with Justin Fields changing his arm angle. Like it's bad. They threw 11 times. It's like literally like the most embarrassing thing ever. It's like Nagy when he had Mitch would throw 35 times. Everyone's like, oh, I'll run a little bit more. Now it's the run game was good too. So I get it. I get sticking to the run. But the whole thing in the NFL is when your run game is working, you play action, you bootleg out of it. You win in this league passing the ball. Two passes over 3 passes over 15 yards. Two were completed. The one to Ryan Griffin was a good pass, up tempo. The Equanimous St. Brown was a good play, good throw, pressure right in Fields' face.
mm,
Got it out. The Darnell Mooney ran a double move on Eric Stokes. Literally had negative separation.
yeah.
Like
That
I
was
mean, I like the play that they dialed up, but he literally was not. It was like he had no chance.
yeah,
Like I mean, the defense sucked. Roquan, we talked about it. Like go back to our episode about the Bears. Roquan is awful in the run game, so bad. Alan Lazard so many times yesterday was the seal block on Roquan Smith, who's supposed to be your will linebacker and supposed to be your run stopper. He sucks in coverage way too many times. Randall Cobb is getting behind him. Randall Cobb is beating him. He can go make 8 million somewhere else. Not for the Bears if they pay him more than 15 million. Like I was hesitant to say 15 mil when we recorded that if they pay him over 15 mil, it's an awful contract. It's getting to the point where if they pay him over 12 mil, it's an awful contract. He sucks. He's awful. It's been a story with off-ball linebackers for as long as Roquan's been in the league. They regress once they start wanting that second contract, and once they get that second contract, they go down the shitter. Miles
yeah,
Jack, um, whatever. Fosa Luakan looked great for the Jaguars. He's getting 10 mil a year. That's a guy the Bears should have picked up and said, "Fuck you, Roquan. Go somewhere else and get your money."
yeah.
David Montgomery looked so good, so good. People like to hate on him for not being explosive, and I've been a guy like don't pay Montgomery if he's a 6 mil guy for the next 3 years, whatever. Like I'm not mad at that. Like he's shifty. He's yards after contact. He looked great. He's a better runner than Khalil Herbert. I don't really care about the grades or the yards per whatever. He's just more dynamic. He really opened up a lot for the offense. The weapons are awful. Cole Kmet is still so bad. He's been targeted twice probably all season so far. He dropped the pass, very similar to what he would do last year, just a little curl route. They're running basic stick curl on first down. Justin Fields has pressure in his face, puts it right on Cole Kmet, drop. It's terrible. Can't get open. You know, I want to see more bootlegs out of the offense, but when you throw 11 times and what 3 of them are sacks and probably 5 of them were Justin Fields running, it's terrible. It's so bad. Like I really want to see, like there was one play where Adam Hogue said Equinemius St. Brown was wide open when Fields
Yeah,
did have a pocket, and he missed him. Like
curious.
I do want to see that play because nobody has posted it.
Oh,
Um, I'm curious to see like if he was in the progression, that type of thing. Maybe JT O'Sullivan will break it down better for us. Um, but just so bad. Yeah, I know this is a objective football, so I do have to talk about the Packers, who looked good, and Aaron Rodgers obviously is good. I mean, their run game just ate up the Bears, like, and everybody expected it all throughout the week. Just bad run defense, and I I think we've kind of touched on it a little bit, or maybe a lot. But the way that Ryan Poles attacked this offseason was I mean, yesterday just showed how bad it was. You go nickel, go slot corner was obviously their intention of where they wanted to play him. So you go slot corner and box safety, who I think are good players. And Kyler Gordon was horrible last night, one of the worst performances I've ever seen out of a DB, but he is a
yeah.
DB. Jalen Johnson last year, and I know it was against Devontae Adams, got destroyed in the first matchup we played against them. So Kyler Gordon, I'll give more time before I say he's a bad pick. But when you're starting Equinemius St. Brown and Byron Pringle and these shitty guys, like, I mean, not taking a wide receiver, not signing a wide receiver is just it's negligence, it's malpractice, it's everything bad about how the Bears have been run for the last 100 years. It's terrible. It's terrible. Justin Fields is literally going out there and like even if guys are open, like it's not very frequent. Sam Mustipher's the worst fucking center in football. It's unbelievable that this guy is still starting on the team. Like
Yeah.
and he's gonna continue it's unbelievable. Like he is so
Terrible.
fucking terrible.
I can't believe it.
Starting a 5th round pick at left tackle, who's I mean, obviously you're not expecting him to be good. A rookie, a 5th round pick, 2nd year guy, a right tackle. I don't I could talk all day about it. It was so
No,
bad
I mean,
yesterday.
it was really bad. It was really, really bad. I mean, look, the way the game played out, I know a lot of people were very upset about Fields only getting 11 attempts, but the first drive was good, and then it was just like the offense stalled for like a whole half. I don't really know what they could have done to like
I mean, they
get it
passed
more.
75% of the next 3 drives were pass plays.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
and I'm not saying it's Justin Fields' fault that the passing game
No.
isn't working. It's very probably much not all on him. I mean, there's definitely parts that are on him,
Mhm.
100%. He's either processing way too quickly now and missing open guys, or just not throwing to open guys that he sees. But guys are not getting open, and the offensive line is not good. Like the
Yeah.
passing game does not have talent to be running a passing game. You know, like I have so many different takes about Luke Getzey and the way that he passed yesterday, and but there's not the way it's more Ryan Poles because the way he set up this offense is you want to have a fair shot to see your 2nd year quarterback and how he
Yeah.
plays this year. But the way he has set up the team is they do not have enough talent to pass. They just don't. In this NFL, especially against a team like the Packers who are going to sit in zone, they do not have the talent for guys to to run enough or to pass. They just don't. That's as simple as it gets. And Luke Getzey knows that, and that's why he doesn't pass.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you said with the Packers, I mean, I think that's the other part of it. It's like the Packers secondary just totally outclasses the Bears weapons. Like, I mean, the Packers secondary is probably the best in the league, and the Bears weapons are probably the worst in the league. So this is not the game where you're gonna see the Bears receivers getting separation. And I think that's another part of it is like, next week, I think against the Texans, like I think we're gonna see Fields throw the ball a lot, especially just because
Yeah.
the media will be all over Luke Getsy for not throwing it enough. And I just it's so hard to evaluate Fields against the Packers. You're right, just because I mean the offense is so terrible around him, and the Packers defense is so talented. And I mean we saw it last night. Rashawn Gary was just blowing the game up. Jair had a pick. Um,
That was
so
a good play. That was a really, I mean, obviously not a good throw from field, but that was a really good play. Like, I
yeah,
mean, he got across the field. He dove across.
it was
Like,
really
I mean, the
impressive.
guy looked wide open, and there was basically no throw to make because Jair covered the entire area.
Yeah, Jair, he's might still be the best corner in the league.
Yeah,
And Stokes kept up with Mooney step for step on that deep
impressive.
shot. Yeah, you're just not going to see the Bears offense be able to create separation against these Packers DBs. And yeah, Fields looked pretty bad. Um, I mean, like you said, that missed touchdown deck with Amy St. Brown that Adam Hogue tweeted about. It's not good to see. I mean, if you're the Bears, you can't really afford to miss
Yeah,
wide.
I want to see that play really badly.
I'm really excited for the all 22 to come out and JT O'Sullivan's video. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see. He it was another bad game. And look, I mean, if you're the Bears, like you've got to you have two objectives the rest of the year. You've got to figure out if it's time to move off Fields, and you've got to lose as many games as you can. And doing
Yep.
both of those at the same time is pretty hard, honestly, especially with how bad the offense around Fields is. And God, I mean, I tweeted it to you last night, but like just like AJ Brown would have
Ah,
I mean,
oh
he's
my
like one
god.
of like thousands of receivers that were traded this offseason to be your wide receiver one. And just if you have him as your wide receiver one, and then you have Mooney as your two, and the rest of your receivers as lottery tickets, like that is so ideal. You're set because you have your wide receiver one for the future, and you hope Mooney can at least be a wide receiver three on a Super Bowl contender. Um,
Right.
and yeah, I mean, I saw a lot of praise coming for the Bears offensive line after last night, which was so weird because I saw that you
That's
posted.
another one I want to see. They
Yeah,
said 10 pressures, but a couple of them were probably on Fields. Mustipher was fucking terrible, but
yeah.
I I will let you know how true it is.
Um, I mean, the other thing is like the guard switching between Patrick and Tevin Jenkins
Oh my
is
god.
just malpractice. It is so terrible. It is. I mean, I know you said it's worse than anything Nagy's done. That might be a bit
No,
extreme,
it
but
probably is. I was just mad in the moment. It's negligence, man.
but
It's so bad.
it's really
Oh
bad.
my god.
And you're not going to see any other NFL teams doing this really, which is
Oh,
like,
like, who does
but
that?
you
Tevin
use
Jenkins is your best player on the
yeah,
offensive line,
yeah.
and he's playing less than half of the snaps because
He has to
Lucas
be in the
Patrick needs to get
line.
into the game.
Yeah,
Play him when he's ready.
and now
Oh,
it's it's terrible. I mean, and I don't know. The offense just looked uncreative, and oh my god, the 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 quarterback draw on 4th and 1
okay.
at the goal line. I don't care if he got in. That is a terrible call. That is a
Yeah.
terrible
And
call. Justin
sorry,
Fields is not the best quarterback.
whoever. I don't care about your eighth place sample of quarterback power in the last 5 years to make it a justifiable decision. Your quarterback is 6'3", 240 pounds. Put it up the middle. You are 1 inch away. Doesn't matter. They would have lost.
Like I'm sorry, we don't have Cam Newton or Lamar Jackson, so we
Yeah,
can't
exactly.
do that every time. Like it's
Or Jacoby Brissett. Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Anyway, I
big
have
yeah.
class in 13 minutes, so we're good.
Okay, okay. So we'll start off. Yeah, last words. I mean, Jalen Johnson is a dog. I love him, and Kyler Gordon got cooked. The Bears' defensive line was looking okay. I mean, the run defense is terrible on both sides, but yeah, terrible game.
Sucks
It is
bad. Yeah. Good week of
Bears.
football though. So far, two good games tonight.
Good games tonight. Yeah, should be fun. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. We are
I'll
gonna
see
see you next.
you for our week 3 predictions.
Yes, week 3 predictions. Right. Peace out.